Well, today we're starting a 4-week series on the Trinity. We're calling it Making Sense of the Trinity. I'm in the studio with Pastor Ross. Ross, can we even make sense of the Trinity?
Well, the answer is yes and no. We can understand how to articulate the idea. We can understand how the Bible teaches it, but ultimately it's a mystery. And that's really our first topic, right? The Trinity as a mystery, really the mystery of God.
Yeah, so what we're going to be doing in this series, if you're following along at home, is in this first lesson, we're going to talk about the paradox and the mystery of God. And then we're going to talk about the first part of the definition of the Trinity, that God is one.
Right.
Then in week 3, we're going to talk about the second part, which is that God is three persons. And we're going to finish up with just some final thoughts on the Trinity and how that whole thing works.
Right.
The deity of God.
The deity of all the persons, yeah.
That's right. So again, it's a 4-week series if you want to go through this entire one with your group or your mentor. But let's get back to this kind of framing concept that God cannot fully be understood, can he?
Right. So the Trinity is a tough thing. A lot of people struggle with it because it is beyond our rational comprehension. But I think about Job. God challenged Job, right? Job was trying to figure out God, and God challenged Job in Job 11, verse 7. He says to Job, can you solve the mysteries of God? Can you discover anything about the Almighty? And the answer to both those questions really is no. We can't really solve the mystery of God. We can't discover anything on our own. All we know about God is what he's chosen to reveal to us about himself. And so God's beyond the comprehension of our intellect, and it's a mystery in that sense.
So is it even worth trying? Why even do this series? Why even talk about the Trinity?
Yeah, that's a great question. Some people might just throw up their hands and say no. But the thing is, it's worth it to know God. If there's anything that we could exercise our mental capacity on, really it would be the knowledge of God, because knowing God is the foundation for everything. He's our creator. So he made the world. He made everything the way it is. And if we don't know him, we don't know our destiny. We don't know our identity. We don't know the world that we live in.
Okay, so the idea of the Trinity, I know some people are going to be watching this and saying, wait a second, I know that you can't even find Trinity in the Bible. I look in my concordance at the back of my Bible, and I can't find the concept of the Trinity in there at all. So clearly, this whole thing is a farce. We're making it up. This is some conspiracy from the Christians for 2,000 years.
Right. So the word Trinity is not found in the Bible. There's no proof text. But the idea of the Trinity, the idea of that we'll explain as we go, the three-ness of God, three-in-oneness of God, that idea is throughout the whole Bible from beginning to end. It's not like there's just this key verse or not a footnote or something where you can say, oh, boom, that does it. But when you take all that the Bible reveals about God, the Trinity is really ultimately the only way to make sense out of it all, and we see it from start to finish, manifest in different ways.
Okay, so one last kind of, I would say this is a major point as people are studying this, because I know that this can be an area of debate, of great debate. Some people can really struggle to wrap their mind around the Trinity, even as we're starting this series. Ross, is this a salvation issue? In other words, can someone be saved and not grasp the Trinity, right?
Yeah, I think the answer is yes, because nobody has to know everything about God or everything about theology or whatever in order to respond to the gospel invitation of grace. But as you grow in your faith, you will come to understand the Bible more and more, and you will eventually, as a true Christian, you will eventually come to the place where this is what you believe. So you don't have to have it all down first in order to have a defining moment of faith. Now, I would say that it would be hard for me to say that someone is a Christian if they understood the Trinity and denied it.
That's good. Okay, so what would you say to the person who's starting in on this series and they're saying, I don't really buy the concept of, for whatever reason, maybe doctrinal teaching, some other church that they were a part of, I don't really buy the concept of the Trinity. What words would you have for them as we start this series?
Yeah, I just say stick with us, because what we're really going to do in the next 3 videos is we're going to really define it and show how it is biblical. And so ultimately, if you're committed to the Bible, or if you believe at least initially that the Bible has some truth, or it really is the way to understand God, then you're going to see that even though it's hard for us to grasp it rationally, that the Trinity still makes sense in that way, that it is the biblical teaching.